This Sunday is the fourth Sunday of Lent. I'm standing next to a poster from our Catholic Charity Appeal, which is now underway. Hopefully you'll be able to support that appeal this year for the many, many good works that it does in our diocese: educational, spiritual, outreach to the poor. We hope that you'll be able to support the Catholic Charity Appeal. And in the background also you see the Stations of the Cross. We've been praying the Stations of the Cross Fridays during Lent, and we do that after the morning Mass. And a good number of people have been staying. Maybe between 40 and 50 people are praying the Stations of the Cross on Friday morning. So our Lenten journey continues, and we know that it's a 40-day journey of prayer and fasting and almsgiving. This Sunday is Laetare Sunday. We'll wear the rose-colored vestment, and it's really a reminder that even in this Lenten season, we know that great promise of new life has been given to us. Jesus has risen from the dead, and he is the one who continues to animate all that we do in the life of our church. This Sunday, our gospel is taken from Luke's account, chapter 15, verses 2 and 3, and then 11 to 32. Let's take a listen. Tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to listen to Jesus, but the Pharisees and scribes began to complain, saying, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." So to them Jesus addressed this parable. A man had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, "Father, give me the share of your estate that should come to me." So the father divided the property between them. After a few days, the younger son collected all his belongings and set off to a distant country, where he squandered his inheritance on a life of dissipation. When he had freely spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he found himself in dire need. So he hired himself out to one of the local citizens, who sent him to his farm to tend the swine. And he longed to eat his fill of the pods on which the swine fed, but nobody gave him any. Coming to his senses, he thought, "How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food to eat, but here am I, dying from hunger. I shall get up and go to my father, and I shall say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you would treat one of your hired workers.' So he got up and went back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father caught sight of him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son.' But his father ordered his servants, 'Quickly bring the finest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened calf and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.' Then the celebration began. Now the older son had been out in the field, and on his way back, as he neared the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what this might mean. The servant said to him, 'Your brother has returned, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf, because he has him back safe and sound.' He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, his father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father in reply, 'Look, all these years I served you, and not once did I disobey your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns, who swallowed up your property with prostitutes, for him you slaughter the fattened calf.' He said to him, 'My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice, because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found." This passage is one that is probably familiar to just about all of us, the parable of the prodigal son, sometimes called the parable of the lost son. The younger son asks his father for his share of the inheritance, goes off to a foreign land, squanders his money, and then in a desperate condition makes the journey back. And he's welcomed back by the father, who restores him to the dignity of being a son. And the older brother gets upset at the kind of welcome that is given to his brother. When we put ourselves into the gospel passage, when we reflect on the passage, we might see ourselves as being like the younger son, or we might see ourselves as being like the older brother. In reality, there may be times when I am like the younger son, and other times when I am like the older brother. There is a lesson for both sons in the gospel. The younger son receives a message of welcome and forgiveness, of being restored to dignity. It is the story of the Father's mercy, a kind of unexpected and lavish mercy, unexpected mercy for a son who had his penance in mind, his punishment ready. He was rehearsing the words as he returned to the Father. It's also the story of how we can feel unappreciated when we are responsible, doing what we are required, handling the tasks that have been entrusted to us. The older brother is jealous of the attention his younger brother is given, even when he really messed up. The father reminds the older son that he is loved as much as the younger son, and that the father is always there for him as well. Where do we see ourselves at this time in our lives, on our Lenten journey, in this parable of the prodigal son? We might see ourselves even as an observer, watching what happens to the two sons. In whatever role we take on, we can learn more about the Father's love and mercy. Using your spiritual imagination, enter into the parable. Enter into this story. What is God trying to reveal to you? Let the gospel fill your week. See you in church. For now, God bless.